back on the execution stage. So for this session, we'll get Maxime from Sigfox and Philippe from Unabiz to discuss about hacking house from ID to prototype. So please join me to... Thank you.
Thank you. So let's have a look at the introduction video of the hacking house. So everyone who's here around today is here because he believes in the power of zero-G technology. And actually, we haven't seen the full potential of zero-G technology yet. We've only seen the tip of the iceberg. And the hacking house is bringing ideas to life. The concept is the following. So I'm Maxime, the head of hacking house at Sigfox, and I also run the hacking house in Paris. The concept of the hacking house is that a corporate brings a problem to the hacking house, and we put a team with skills in IoT to solve that problem in 90 days. And what we deliver at the end is a minimum viable product, or in other words, a working prototype. We also bring a report to the customer explaining all the technical and business choices we've made, as well as a sales pitch. We have two different offers for customers in the hacking house. First, we have large corporate companies that are willing to keep the intellectual property. So for this kind of customers, we put a team of interns solving the problem for them, and we hand over the project at the end. We give them all the deliverables, all the source code, all the PCB design, mechanical design, whatsoever. The second offer that we have is that we face a potential first customer of a startup. And for that kind of customer, we set a team of entrepreneurs or graduate students willing to become entrepreneurs. What we are expecting from that first customer is to finance the proof of concept. Our secret sauce in the hacking house is first to select very impactful projects. We are selecting projects that are very challenging technically, that are a great fit for zero-G technology, and also that address a big enough market. So we do an assessment, and we select projects this way. The second ingredient to that recipe is having top talents. So we have partnerships with the best universities in France, in Europe, in Asia as well, wherever we have hacking houses, and we source these top students as well as top entrepreneurs. The second thing is that we are making very complementary teams. We are mixing hardware, software, and business profiles together. The third thing that we have is an intensive program. We start with a technical onboarding on IoT. So we take people that are skilled on hardware and software development, but not necessarily skilled on Sigfox technology. We teach them this in the hacking house. The second thing is that we are also teaching them design thinking and business thinking. You all know that IoT is all about finance. It's about return on investment. So that's what we teach to those students. And the last thing is that we have a very intensive program. It's a 90-day program. It's not easy to have a working deliverable in 90 days. So it's a very intensive program. The fourth ingredient is experts leadership. We are working with a pool of experts, of professionals that have done industrialization in the past, and they are sharing their previous mistakes, their previous experiences to the students and the young entrepreneurs. We have weekly mentoring, so we check that the team is going on the right direction and they're not making mistakes. And the last thing is we have a monthly crash test with the customer, ensuring that we go in the right direction. Sorry. So let's see what the hacking house journey looks like. We start first with onboarding. So it's a 1-week intensive training program where we teach everything students should know about Sigfox technology, from programming STM microprocessors up to retrieving a message on the back end. The second week is about design thinking and planning. So they learn about their project topic and they start drafting a solution with the ROI in mind. And the third and fourth week, they're working on what we call a quick and dirty prototype, meaning that they are developing a first draft of solution with a development kit. So that's for the first month. The second month, they are fine-tuning the architecture and the flowchart, meaning the logic of the solution, and they start doing what we call a breakout prototype. So they are implementing parts of the solution and testing it before they do the final design. Also, in parallel to that, they are working on embedded software and dashboard development, because the hacking house is working on the end-to-end solution, not just on the hardware. But we make a big focus on the hardware because that's the hard part, and that's what most customers are looking for. Finally, we work on the PCB design. So we work with manufacturers, and we make real prototypes. We also do the antenna and mechanical design. And finally, we field test the solution. At the end of the Hacking House program, we have what we call a demo day. So we bring customers, we bring investors, we bring incubators, and we are helping the startups to get started. So we put the right crowd in the room, and we help them to kickstart. We have partnership with incubators, for example, that are taking all the startups and helping them to bring the product to market. What we do in the Hacking House is only the first prototype. So let's see some of the results of the last session we had in Paris. It was last June, from June to end of August. So the first project was Wi-Fi gateway and set-top box monitoring. So the problem that internet service providers have is they have a lot of people calling their call centers for support. And they think they could be more efficient with this, which is true. Also, the experience of the customer is not great. You have to spend 10 minutes on the phone before you get a technician helping you with your problem. So by having a Sigfox-enabled USB key connected to the Wi-Fi gateway, the ISP knows right away what the issue is with your Wi-Fi gateway. So you see on the platform, there is the error code that is sent to the ISP and they will know that the issue is related to power or internet connectivity or something else. And they will be much more proactive in helping the customer. The return on investment is huge. If we embed this kind of system inside the gateway, it would take less than 6 months to bring a return on investment to internet service providers. Another kind of solution we've been developing in Paris is an autonomous water meter. And the reason why I emphasize on this solution is because this is coming live to market in the next couple of months. You can see this product at the Hacking House booth, which is in D21. So come and visit us to see it. So we have a patented turbine inside the system, and when the water flows into it, it generates power. And with that power, we are sending reports every 10 minutes, 1 hour about water consumption. And we differentiate hot water and cold water. The target of this kind of autonomous water meter is mainly hotels, social landlords, as well as senior houses or secondary houses. One thing that this autonomous water meter is capable of doing also is detecting a leakage. So in a secondary house where no one is going for a long time, it's particularly relevant to be alerted of a leakage when you're not there. So I will leave the mic to Philippe, who is managing the Hacking House in Taipei. Hacking House Taipei being the first franchise of the Hacking House program.
Thank you, Maxime. Good afternoon, everybody. So indeed, we have had the privilege to have run, actually, after Sigfox ran the first edition in Taipei between March and June this year. We are right in the middle of a second edition. We started on October 16th. And we have, in total, 25 students. And the point today is more, in fact, to, well, talk about what happened in the first season, and at least also to go through what we did, what we've done so far, and what are the projects that we're currently curating, incubating in Taipei. Out of the 4 projects that we incubated in Taipei for the first season, the first two projects came out in the sense that they are actually being carried out as industrial products, okay? The first team was a team of electronic engineering students who, from Taiwan, who were given a project by, I believe, a French fire extinguisher equipment makers, who basically said that fire extinguishers need to be monitored in terms of the number of times it is used. And also, whenever it's been used, that it's been replaced, well, put back to where it's supposed to be. So we can always find the fire extinguishers. So what the team came up with is a sensor that basically can send an alert whenever the nozzle has been pulled on a fire extinguisher, so that let's say the operator of that building knows that a fire extinguisher has been used in his building. And this team is not only worked hard on the prototype during the 3 months. This was a demo day in June. We had the privilege to have also the former French Minister of Culture, Fleur Pellerin, but also the Minister of Digitalization in Taiwan, Mrs. Audrey Tang. The team actually is registering a patent and registering a startup in Taiwan. And they are not only providing this technology, I was just talking to a fire protection company in Singapore about an hour ago about this project. But also they're developing a new business calling basically what a lot of Taiwanese companies do in designing IoT-specific prototypes and solutions. So it's a very, how do you say, for a person that worked on this project, 4 startups, 4 teams, one of them coming out as a startup that registered and is going towards commercialization is well, it's a very motivating feeling. And the second startup is actually sitting right here, Ravi over here. And this was actually a very interesting case where a startup company came to the hacking house to accelerate the development of their prototype, so that at the end of the 3 months, they have a prototype that works, and they can move on to actual possible industrialization. So I believe you're still working on a firmware, though. But the demo day of the Hacking House first edition with Urban AI, the smart car insurance company, technology, they demonstrated basically a ODB2 plug that could be plugging onto a car, so that the data of the driver's behavior could be sent up, could be logged, okay, continuously logged, and that data could be passed on to insurance company when they need to evaluate the driver behavior, the behavior of driving of a person they are trying to insure, so that insurance company don't start charging you differently accurately, charge you accurately, sorry, according to your driver's behavior. And what is really also very exciting is that subsequent to this 3 months of acceleration development, the team has moved on today towards fundraising and talking to insurance companies in Taiwan, I believe. And the good thing about Ravi being here is, well, there's a proof that he's already in the Sigfox ecosystem. And Think Tank is a startup that has a IoT dashboard with artificial intelligence integrated in it that is extremely useful. I make some publicity for you too, right? It's important to know that we in Singapore are working with Think Tank with commercial malls using our buttons for user satisfaction. So it was a startup before the Hacking House. If I can move on to the next slide. We have launched the season 2 of Hacking House in October. And the Unibiz model of the Hacking House in Taipei this fall was to generate a lot of support and sponsorship, to be honest, from our ecosystem in Taiwan. So we're working with ST Microelectronics. They have a very interesting and large booth over there. We're working with a local co-working space and accelerator that is run by, in fact, the city of Taipei. So a public authority that runs a incubation center in Neihu, about 10 minutes from Unibiz office. And we're working with a top engineering school called National Jiao Tong University, which has one of the most influential acceleration program called IAPS. And as an SO and also as a driver of IoT in Taiwan, driver of the adoption of IoT technology, we believe that this was a very good, interesting acceleration program to, in fact, be searching for talents among the schools that we work with. I personally went to pitch lecture in 6 different schools in Taiwan, engineering schools. We also believe that it's an important way of involving our ecosystem locally in Taiwan. So we have semiconductor companies, we have electronic manufacturing company, we have mentors who are providing their business consultant help. We have on this picture we had basically the ambassador of Guatemala, because we have a coffee related project. We had a legislator of the Taiwanese Legislative Yuan. We had the ambassador of Singapore as well, because Unibiz is a company from Singapore. And also, most importantly, we had 25 students from 12 countries who are all on scholarship or on exchange programs in Taiwan. And the Hacking House was providing an English language program for helping students to learn about IoT and learn about entrepreneurship. And most of the students could not find English language program of the same sort. So we basically touched on different resources that we didn't know existed, that foreign students in Taiwan were extremely interested in our program. to go through these 4 projects, because it's important to present them and ask whoever in the audience is interested in them. We have a project that is helping postmen in Taiwan, but also anywhere in the world, because we're trying to make sure that postmen do not open empty post boxes on the street anymore. In Taiwan, there are 8,000 post boxes on the street, and less letters being posted. I think it's the same case in pretty much all over the world. But the 8,000 boxes need to be opened every day by the mailman. So the team is trying to put sensors inside the mailbox so that once their letters have been deposited, they will notify the postman, and then we will optimize the route of the postman collection every evening. And so we found out, for instance, that in the central district in Taipei, there are 110 post boxes, and only 3 mailmen every evening have to maintain them, have to operate them. We have a very interesting project in smart agriculture, and I know a lot of startups on this show are working on smart agriculture. There is a disease called the coffee leaf rust. So they are actually fungus that attack the leaves of coffee trees, and that will prevent the production of coffee. And in 2017 in Honduras, 30% of the coffee production was affected by this epidemic. So what the team wants to do is basically, can we start using sensors in the coffee field, plantation, to start knowing whenever the coffee leaf rust might grow, and to prevent the coffee producers to be overusing pesticide, because when they know that one area has coffee leaf, they actually put pesticide all over the plantation. So it has environmental impact as well. We have recycled, so-called, a project coming from the Hacking House in San Francisco. We're working on a container seal that has an IoT connection, so that whenever a container has been opened at the receiver's end, there is a signal that will be sent out by Sigfox to, well, whoever that needs to know that information. So that can be the person that shipped the container, the person that owns the content of the container at the receiving end. It could be the freight forwarder, it could be the customs. There's so many different companies involved in the shipping of one container that we believe we understood, in fact, that data is very essential. So this is a challenge in making a Monarch version of a connected seal for containers that could be not only sending up an information of when and where and possibly who has opened the container, what seal, because there's a serial number on every single seal, and what container, but also to bring it down to a hopefully less than $8 unit, because this is a seal that costs about $1 for one-time use only right now by container operators. And the last project is actually relevant for every single, just like the former speaker was talking about concrete. We have a team that's working on how to monitor the safety of workers on a construction site. So the idea of the connected safety helmet, for instance, or connected wearable for a workers, so that we know whenever a worker is too tired to work, or maybe his heartbeat is not regular anymore. And this is basically the idea that on a big construction site, we know where is everybody. We know whether a person is entering a dangerous area. We know whether a person is on site. What time did he come on site? What time did he check out? And so altogether, we have all those 4 very exciting projects. We just survived the first crash test last week. We had a visit to Container Park in Keelung, in the north of Taiwan. We had a visit to a coffee show, actually, where a lot of producers from all over the world that went to Taiwan for a international coffee show. And we're actually really looking out for people that are interested in any of those 4 projects to provide, well, industrial feedback, insights. So how do contractors and construction site operates in terms of monitoring, their workers? Do they need that kind of monitoring? And if yes, how much money are they willing to put in? We actually also have been discussing with, for instance, the UAE Emirates ESO, the iWire, about possibly a POC in Dubai. So it's a very exciting program, and maybe to the last few minutes I have, I think I have a last slide, do I? No. Not anymore, okay.
Actually, we have two more messages to give.
Yes.
The first one is follow us on the social networks. We're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We give updates about these projects. Search for Hacking House by Sigfox. And the last thing we want to show you is some testimonials of students coming to the Hacking House. So if we could start a video, please. And that will be it for us. Thank you.
My name is Thomas Narayana Swami. I am French Indian.
My name is Lamia Dakir. I am Moroccan.
I'm Gokulnath. I'm from India.
My name is Daniel. I am Brazilian.
My name is Haoming Wang, and I'm 25 years old right now, and I come from China.
And I'm studying at SCA Paris. I'm doing my embedded systems master's degree.
I am a second-year engineering student at NCR.
I'm doing a master's here at EZEP in Paris.
I studied in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and I studied biomechatronics, basically mechatronics engineering.
I'm learning natural language processing in Université de Paris Diderot.
I came to the Hacking House. It's pretty simple.
I just heard this through my friend, that they are doing this kind of real-world problems.
I wanted to have a more practical experience in IoT, so Sigfox being a leader in this field, I thought it would be a good idea.
It's an opportunity to learn more about IoT and meet amazing people.
I wanted to do something fun for 3 months, something engineering-based, something with real value, and the Hacking House helped me fulfill that.
I've been learning, whoa, that's a good question.
I have learned a lot of things, how to deal with business customers.
Technical topics.
Strategies and user experience.
How to approach a business and how to target the consumer market and everything.
I learned about AdTech certification, which I've never heard about. I didn't know it existed.
I never even know that there is one thing called as antenna design exists.
Basically, everything I can think of or we would need. If I could describe the Hacking House in 3 words, that would be
solving real-world problems.
The first one is family.
Challenge.
And the second word could be challenge.
Multicultural.
Challenging, a bit of a pain because you're learning new things and you have to figure out on the go.
And the third word could be grow.
And finally, I guess I would say overall fun.
I would say someone considering to coming to Hacking House is like, hey man.
If you actually want to develop in like the real world and actually do an internship that's useful to you as an individual, this would be a good place.
This is the thing.
Believe in yourself and have fun.